How you guys doing this morning? Hey, Junior and Max Blation and Rick and John and Bruno. Hey, Gary. Bruno from Belgium. Where else? How are things in Belgium? Wait, I saw a coffee cup that I thought was really funny. It had you know how they have the different stars for recommending. From 1 star means it's not very good, and 5 stars means it's really great. Well, this one had it had the year 2020. It had 1 star, not recommended. I thought that was funny. Anyhow, well, listen, guys. Hey, Bruce and Jean Claude, Jean Claude Beaver. I hope those of you who celebrate Thanksgiving had a good one. And I bet this year, perhaps drunk uncle didn't get a chance to join you, but otherwise, I hope you had a great one. Hey, Abdul, how are you? And Derek, Indrajit, how are things in India? Krasmir, good to see everybody. Which which means we're all still alive. That's a good thing. What I wanted to talk about today, Derek, you're in the Bahamas. That's a nice place. What I wanted to talk about today, we have our watches. I've got on my, I have on my chronomet Souverain FPG. You can't see it very well, but anyway, when I was looking at that, I said, well, what are we really paying for? And I was thinking of other purchases we make. Let's say you go out and you buy a $5,000 watch. Now, given the overall situation in terms of luxury watches, $5,000 is usually a good deal. It can be not so good of a deal. To me, perhaps the best deal that you can get for around $5,000 is a Harbring 2. Go out and get a brand new Harbring 2. The worst deal you can get, I think, is buying a watch that advertises as high horology, and they stick a very inexpensive movement in there. I won't mention any names, IWC, but anyway, some companies do that, and so that's not a very good deal. On the other hand, $5,000 for, let's say, a Patek Philippe, wow, that's a great deal. But then I thought, well, why is this such a good deal of any of these? And when we look at it, what are we getting? I guess one of the things that got me started, I've got this strange case, and I've got to sort of undo it to get the strap on. But I was looking, I said, this is a pretty nice case. And what I'll do is that I'll go and I'll check out the movements that I have or see one to get, and make a watch out of this. And I don't know what I'll do with it. This one has sort of got a, let me see, maybe you can see it a little easier if I hold it up this way. Oops, wrong way. You can see that it has sort of a squarish case to it. One of the line of watches that Laurent Ferrier has is the different types of squarish pillow-shaped watches. I don't know. I need something dark. One that won't work. Anyway, here we go. This is dark. Let me see if you can see it any better with this one. Chinese written on the back. No, that doesn't help. Nothing helps. So anyway. But I was looking at this, and so I'm trying to think what I paid for this. Maybe for this case, $10, $15. I got it from China. I've got some movements that are like something like this. This is a movement that I wrecked, but it's fun to, and so I can take a look at this and say, well, is this one going to fit in here? And I can test it out and so forth before I either get a new one or pull up one of my other ones. And so this isn't very much. I mean, it's like this particular one is an ETA Unitas 9464, yeah, 64, 97, or 98. By the way, one way to tell whether it's one or the other is that you put your finger on the back and, oops, sorry, I caught it. Is that you put your finger here it's actually on the surface, and you feel around for this little nub. And so the nub I found right about here, which means it's a 6498, because when this is at 3 o'clock, and you can feel a little nub down here where you put your small second. But the point of it is that here I'm playing around with something. We'll say tops $100 if I add a dial to it, dial and hands and this and the whole thing, even a strap. We're talking $100 here, but then I go out and I spend $5,000, or $2,000 or even $1,000, and I'm thinking, well, what am I really getting for that? And something like this, my FP Joint Chronomet Surveying, these things are going $40,000. I mean, the price is just insane. So it would seem to me that you're paying for something other than just the different parts, and you're for the skill and for all of these other things that go into it. But at some point, you got to ask yourself, well, how much of this real skill am I paying for, especially on the pre-owned market? But the pre-owned market of these guys has actually gone up from their initial price. Chronomet Blue even more so. So what we have to be paying for is the workmanship and the skill and the inventiveness and so forth. Okay, you guys have been going on here and say you got lots of opinions. Let's see what you're saying. You're greeting everyone. Rick, what did you? I do. I mean, they're Pell Weber, Rick. I do like. Hey, William. Let's see. Cushion shape. Yeah. Bruno, they have a. What is a Laurent Ferrier call his? He calls them something square. I forgot what it was, but yeah, pillow is that essentially what they are. Wearing my green dial Aquaterra this morning. Way to go, William. Emotions. Jean-Claude Bieber. I think, that there is a lot of that, but how do and again, advertisers really understand that very much. Is that people get all emotional about having something by, everything from you get into a discussion with some, a real Rolex or Omega fanboy, and man, you don't ever argue with him. He just sort of, as the penguins in Madagascar say, just wave and smile. And that's because they have these emotions, as Jean-Claude Bieber pointed out. Okay, prices of hyped watches are going parabolic, and that is a sign of an unhealthy market. Yeah, it probably is. I tell you, not only is it an unhealthy market, it's an unhealthy clientele. We're all crazy. We know that. Someone had put in one of the comments section, I took a quick look at it, and in the comments section, I said, hey, you want a good watch? Go get a Casio Quartz. They're more accurate than all of this stuff. Of course they are. I mean, so that's not what the hobby is about, I don't think. At least it's not in my case. The hobby is, yeah, we value accuracy, but value accuracy not for time telling, but for a reflection of the workmanship that went into the watch. And so, that's sort of a different kind of way of looking at it. Um, hey, EP Rafa, how you doing, man? What's your thought on Vianney-Halter and Louis Arad collaboration? Ooh, Indrajit. I didn't know about that. That sounds very interesting. Vianney-Halter is, he's like super. Louis Arad are sort of bargain watches, but they got one for $3,500. That may be very, very interesting. I'd like to learn more about that. Hi, Lee. How you doing, man? It's sold out fast, Indrajet. Great dial, but the movement is lacking, in my opinion. Okay. I really like the new release. Okay. If you can answer concerning the Halter Louis Arad, nice watch, but I don't see enough Vianney Halter in it except the hands. The Elaine Silverstein had much more DNA. You know something, Bruno? A similar thing happened with the Haji Ahsoka's thing. He has this watch that I think he did the dial on, and they were selling it in Japan for, I think, about $1,500, something around that thing. As soon as they got a bunch of kids ran out and bought them, and then turned around, and the next day you'd see them on eBay for $3,000. That's sort of an economic, I don't know, investment view of watches, that doesn't help us, I think, a great deal. There's a Phillips HK live auction this weekend, and Christie's has some interesting pieces in their New York auction. What's the prices? Yeah, Rick, I've been doing that. I haven't seen anybody get a steal yet. And then if you add 25% to what the price was, then you find out that not only you can find one, on Chrono 24 eBay for a lot less, and possibly even in better shape. Auction prices are, I don't know how to judge those. What I'll do on a lot of auctions, I'll register for the auction, put a bid in, and watch about how long it takes to over my bid, and that doesn't take too long. Johas Christian, you mean Kurono? Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Thanks. Flipper Economics. Yeah, there's that. Flipper Economics. Hi, Tim. How you doing, man? So, yeah, the Flipper Economics, even more so, what are you paying for with Flipper Economics? With Flipper Economics, what are you paying for? I don't know. Speaking of something weird happening, about 3 years ago, I had both of my Pigeons serviced, and they came back from service, and they were like new watches. It was great. But a funny thing happens with my Chronomet Souverain, and that is that I wind it up and it happily ticks away, and then sometime during the day it has slowed down almost to a stop, and what's going on here? So I put it to the right time, and they keep perfect time after that. I have no idea what that is. Oh, geez. I have no idea. But eventually I'll get it fixed. Next time its service comes up, I'll say, look, this watch has got this funny little habit. So here's what I would suggest you do. Wind it up, set the time, and then look at it about 4 or 5 hours later, and then set the right time, and then it keep perfect time. I have no idea why that is. But the thing of it is that what it does to me, and this is how nutty of a watch collector I am, it gives it personality. Boy, this has got personality. Who cares, what the everything else is about it. Among the bigger brands, I believe Tudor give a lot for the price they ask. The Germans, Sin and Hanhart are nice too. Yeah, I agree, Bruno, with the Tudor especially. You know, Sin Sin is something that my favorite Sin is it's called the Sin-Dial Hoyer, and this was goes back when there was the post-war German Air Force had a contract with Hoyer to make watches for them, and then they had the service contract with Sin. And so what would happen was that when it came back from service with Sin put a new dial on it that said Sin. So they're called Sin-Dialed Hoyers. And apparently they become a really a collection one. But, when I see watches, like, especially, good grief, when I see a watch from in the latest Grand Prix, I couldn't believe it when those two Super Oceans from Breitling, one won the I forgot which sport watch or something, and the other one won the Petite Aiguille. I thought, wait a minute now, look at all these other watches. There was a newest Harboring 2, and they've won 4 awards, for this little bitty company. But then they have this Breitling come in and they gave them the award. I think it's sort of like, and this may sound funny, a lot of times getting the sports award is almost sort of like, well, you can make sports watches, but you can't make really chronometers and, the really good ones. And this is what, Eberhard won, a $2,500 ETA-driven watch. I think it was in 2017, I think it was 2017. And so you have this. So what's worth what? And so again, this is the kind of thing that that we've got to wonder about. What am I paying for? And it's so funny. My God, my wife and I will just, something, you go out and buy something for $1,000 and you really think we should do it. And and do all of this stuff. And I go out and buy a watch. Hot dog, I got a watch. I found a deal for $3,000 and that goes out the door like a vapor. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, am I really, sort of nuts somehow? Flipper is buried 15 miles from my house. Oh my God, that's almost creepy. I wouldn't know. I thought they'd give him a burial at sea at least. Hey, Chris, what's up? BSB, congrats on your new career path. Okay, BSB, I wonder what that's about. Okay. Oh, Bruce, you got a new career path? What's your new career path? That I want to hear about that, Bruce. These Breitling wins are shameful, to be honest. I agree. A 48 millimeter diver in a limited edition with off-the-shelf movement, and it's not even a Breitling movement. I mean, it's off-the-shelf Breitling movement. That would be like a B01 or something, be okay. Mass production cut costs. Your Chinese case is a perfect example. If you do the same case, you'll increase costs dramatically. This excuses the cost of high horology. Hi, Rohit. How you doing, man? More Sin can bail Breitling out. Maybe Sin can bail Breitling out again and make this watch half the price. Watches like the Sapanova and Behrens were looking like they would win normally. Yeah, every now and then, I think this is what I think, and I could be dead wrong. I mean, this is nothing but speculation. Here's what I think. I think there's certain watches that the Petite Aiguille and the Challenger categories were originally built to give upstarts or startups, startups and upstarts, a shot at winning, so like, putting something together. And so, it's when you bring in a old company that's been, putting out watches with unremarkable movement by another, by a third party, then you sort of like, come on, guys. What every year, just about Tudor wins the challenge prize, and that doesn't really. I mean, a bunch of guys get together and they make their own movement, and they somehow able to get it out the door under $3,000 or 4,000 Swiss francs, I think. They're able to do that. Hey, Clyde, how you doing, man? Glad you made it. Hi, 90 Nuts. Everybody is congratulating Bruce, and I don't know what it is. What did happen, Bruce? You're doing something right. Oh, man. Okay. Congratulations, Bruce, on something, but I don't know what it is. Oh, okay. So, hey, Cass, how you doing, man? What do you think of the Hermes Slim, Hermes with the Vaucher movement? Good question. Yeah, let's talk. That's a good one. Not only that, Tim, but there is an Hermes, not only with the base movement is Vaucher, of which Hermes owns 25% of that company, but also they use a lot of Agenor modules, and the time suspended and a couple of the other ones they have. And my opinion, that's great, because we know those are not cheapos, and you have to work with Agenor, or if you own 25% of Vaucher, you got to say, okay, Vaucher, this is what we want, and they get what they want. So, the Vaucher has, I think, at least two kinds of watches. I mean, of movements. I think right now, all of their off-the-shelf movements are automatics. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. And I don't like automatics, but that's me. But the quality of the finish, the workmanship, and everything else makes them more valuable, because more stuff goes into it. And so I don't have a problem with that. In fact, I don't have a problem with an ETA. But if you go and you buy a Steinhardt for $1,000, and it's got an ETA in it, and they tell you it's got an ETA, and they tell you what version of it is and everything else, you know what you're paying for. If another company does that, let's say Breitling or IWC or any of these other companies that do that, and they don't tell you what's in it. You take Vincent Calabresi, one of the top watchmakers in the world, one of the independents, AHCI, his watch, what they call Chronos. You read all about the stuff that he has, the wandering hours and so on and so forth. And he says, and we also use a base ETA 2892 or something like that in there. So, I mean, it's like, you know exactly what you're paying for. You're paying for a world-class watchmaker who is putting his complication on top of an ETA movement. So that's, that's not the same thing as if I call if I'm Breitling and I say, oh, I have a B17 in there, and that's a number, that's actually the designation that they give to the movement that they're using, which is an ETA 28 something or other, I think. As either that or a World War II bomber, who knows? So, you have those kinds of things. It's one of those things. Okay, the Tudor Black Bay won 3 GPH awards in 3 different variations: red, black, and blue. Yeah, Abdul, that's I don't know why and they have this year they had one by Triogle or somebody like that. And they had their own movement. They had done this. The movement probably wasn't that great. And if you look at the Tudor movement for that money, you get a really nice in-house movement by Tudor. And one thing though, see, Tudor's got all this Rolex money behind it. Yeah, they've got a lot of their own money too, and so they can produce, more than you know, the Bobbsey twins in Fracking Gulch, Oklahoma, who have put together something, and they put all of their resources in. They finally come up with a movement, and then wham! Here I don't know. You're waiting for the B-52s, yeah. Hi, Sean. How you doing, man? You have these things. I don't know. No quarantine for that long. We got them for a long time. What about a B-24? I don't know, Bruce. Is the B-24, is that one of their designations? They've got these designations that are simply other names for the for an ETA or a Salida movement. They also have, that's another thing. They do have, I think, the BO1. They have another one that was developed jointly with Tudor that are these are in-house movements, but they also have different names for them too. Is that this is a BO1, this is a BO3. What's the difference? No, this one, it's got a different paint job or something. Hey, Matthew, how you doing, man? They should have just said that they heavily modified ETA such that special. That would have been fair. I agree, Joas. I agree completely. I have nothing against it. It's just what I have. We watch collectors spend a lot of money on these blasted things. And since we do, we ought to have an honest statement of what we're paying for. That's all. I mean, let's say if Breitling said, look, we take an IBOSH from ETA and this is what we do with it. We do this, we do that. And then we finish it like nobody's business. And so this is what you're getting. But notice that the difference between one of their watches with an ETA movement and one with the BO1 movement, look at the difference in the prices. I mean, they're talking about $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 difference, more so for their in-house movement. And then they'll start mewing that, well, ETAs are good. Well, yeah, but are they, I don't know. Hi, Zahid. How you doing, man? Styles. Oh, let's see. Yeah, the Tudor. Yeah, this is the thing. A lot of these watches. Well, you take the Tudor, for example. You take the Tudor that has been winning year after year with a different paint job. That's sort of a cool thing. By the way, let me mention something. The project that we have going with Agenor. I really think it's important, but right now, with we still got this stupid pandemic to contend with. Travel is very difficult. What I would like to do is to put this on hold until this whole thing is behind us. And I'm thinking that maybe what we could do is put it on hold until next October for the Watch Time show. And then those of us who go to the Watch Time show, we can talk about it and do a lot of other things. What I would like to do is go over there, go to Switzerland, talk with the folks at Agenor, go and talk to the people at Wooten Lannon and Kalin for the cases, because I think that way I just would feel better about it. I mean, we're looking at about a 7,000 Swiss francs movement, which is for a bespoke movement by one of the top watchmakers in the world. It's a bargain, but still, it's something that I'd like to see. There are other details that we have to deal with that they were asking me about, like, what about the finishing, and because we hire a company that comes in and they have level 1, level 2, and so forth. And so I think that it wouldn't hurt us to put it on hold. How does that sound? Everything okay to you guys? Hi Hans, how you doing, man? The more a company spends on advertising, the less you get. I agree. Okay, Hans, Hannes. I hope I pronounced your name right. Here was the thing. Hi, Howard. Here was the thing about Breitling that just drove me crazy. They hired a number of actors to have these squads, okay? And I think one was Brad Pitt, and there were some other, this really pretty woman, and then this other guy who was in a Star Wars movie. So they had these 3 as a squad. First of all, what do they know about watches? Jack. They don't know anything, okay? More recently, they had this guy who is a world famous surfer, and he has a clothing company. Well, I used to surf, and I know the world famous surfers, and that's nothing better for your life career than doing your hobby. But again, what does this guy know about watches? Nothing. He doesn't know anything about watches. And but they spend a lot of money. I mean, they spend a huge amount of money. And my question is that, look, instead of putting out these phony baloney names for your movement like B17, why don't you take this money you're spending on these celebrities and say, hey, look at this. Now, what the guy from marketing and sales would tell me is that, because most people don't care about that or know about that. And so, I don't know. Hey, dear Alter Aichi King. Oh, good. Glad you made it. I just wish they would sort out the issue with 2824 hand wound, though. I still feels kind of rough. Okay. Abdul, is that okay about waiting? Good. Thanks. Let's see what Howard has. I offered a nav timer new for 40% a few days ago by an AD. I wasn't tempted because I don't like Breitling's practice with the B17 and B20 designations. Yeah, or the one that Clyde likes to talk about, the B52, the B1. Oh, it's frying pan time. Okay, guys. Let me see what Clyde does, and then I got a boogie. Let's see. A scary thing is when I went and was sure that my temperature went down drastically, turned out still to be 101.8. They said if the temperature was higher than O2 lower, they would have admitted me. Oh, man. Clyde, I hope you're going to be okay. Just found out Brad Pitt is an Okie born in Shawnee. Yeah. Hey, oh no, Clyde, man, you tested positive, Clyde? Jeez, ooh, I hope you'll be okay. Be safe. No, they tested twice. Okay, not COVID. No, it's not COVID. Good. Okay. We buy value for money when you buy the right watch. Zahed, that's exactly right. Okay, because it would have been a hard weekend. Yeah, no kidding. The test is 45% good. Well, some are better than others. Hi, Eggs. I think the guy from Sesback Watches said it right. Watches are now a redundant luxury. They've always been a redundant luxury. Okay. The issue is that we watch enthusiasts aren't the prime target. You're right. We aren't. Hi, Bud. How you doing, man? Listen, Texric, hi. Yeah, and I think you're right, Texric. Look, we'll be back at 4 o'clock, but I've got to, as Bruce said, frying pan time. So you take it easy, and Clyde, yeah, stay safe, man. Real safe.